Imagine pouring your heart and soul into a handmade gift, a testament to months of love and effort, only for the person you created it for to look you in the eye, call it cheap, and then destroy it right in front of you. That's exactly what happened to our storyteller today, a talented artist whose act of love was met with brutal contempt. This isn't just a story about a bad gift reaction, it's a deep dive into financial abuse, gaslighting, and a shocking betrayal that started with a crumpled canvas. But before we dive deeper into this heartbreaking tale, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more gripping Reddit stories. Your support helps us bring these incredible narratives to life. Our storyteller, a 24-year-old woman we'll call Alex, was in a 2-year relationship with her 27-year-old boyfriend, John. John came from an affluent family, had a great job, and seemed to buy whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Alex, on the other hand, was struggling. She'd recently lost her job, taken a pay cut at a new one, and was doing her best to manage her rent and student loans. This financial disparity was often a point of friction, though John usually struggled to truly understand her situation. Alex had a passion for painting, a talent John often praised, claiming he loved her work. With her income so low, she decided that for John's upcoming birthday, she would create a special painting for him. She didn't just whip something up, she spent months researching, planning, and meticulously working on a piece from his favorite video game, BioShock. She decided to paint him as a Big Daddy character, a nod to his love for the game. Alex admitted it might sound a little cheesy, but she genuinely believed he would adore it, especially since he always complimented her talent. She poured every ounce of her creative energy into that canvas, seeing it as a truly personal and priceless gift. In the week leading up to his birthday, John had been heavily hinting that what he really wanted was a new iPhone. The day arrived, and Alex, filled with anticipation and a little nervousness, presented John with her handmade gift. His immediate reaction wasn't joy, or even feigned politeness, but a cold, dismissive question: "Is this my present? Did you get me something else?" Alex, her heart sinking, told him that yes, this was his present, and she had worked on it for months, especially for him. That's when John unleashed a torrent of awful words. He called it a cheap and lazy gift and then, turning his venom on her, declared that she was cheap in general. Alex, trying desperately to defuse the volatile situation, apologized that he didn't like it but explained that she simply wasn't able to afford the iPhone he wanted. That explanation only seemed to fuel his rage. John grabbed the painting, not tearing it, but deliberately bending and crinkling it, completely ruining the paint in her months of painstaking work. He continued his verbal assault, ranting that she clearly didn't care about what he wanted and was bad at budgeting. The argument quickly spiraled, revealing a deeper resentment. John started complaining about paying for groceries and utilities, even though he had previously agreed to cover those costs due to Alex's financial struggles. Alex tried to redirect, saying they could discuss their finances calmly, but this wasn't the time or place for such an outburst. John, however, was just getting started. He accused her of being just after him for money and then, with a chilling nonchalance, added that he didn't want a shitty painting when he could apparently be in a committed relationship with another girl at his workplace who makes more money. And then, as if to wipe away the verbal abuse and the destroyed gift, he tacked on, "But I love you." The blows kept coming. He casually mentioned that this other girl had brought him a red velvet cake for his birthday, his favorite kind, a detail Alex hadn't known or even cared to. Alex, trying to find some footing, reminded him that she had baked him a chocolate cake with cream cheese frosting earlier in the week, which is essentially a red velvet cake. John immediately switched tactics, sneering that the other girl had gotten it from his favorite bakery, proving, in his twisted logic, that some random girl knows which bakery he likes over me. Utterly heartbroken and emotionally drained, Alex simply went to bed. The next morning, John was gone, and so was the ruined painting. He sent a text saying he'd gone to an Easter/birthday brunch with his parents and would be back soon. Alex was left reeling, unsure whether to end a relationship that had so much commitment involved, especially with a lease they shared. He'd never acted like this about money before, and the mention of another girl, the blatant comparisons, and the destruction of her painting left her utterly confused and deeply hurt. She turned to Reddit, asking for advice, feeling too fragile to start another argument. The consensus was immediate and clear: this guy was not a good guy. One comment stood out, asking, "Are you kidding me? Your boyfriend ruined something that you made for him out of love and called it shitty because it wasn't expensive enough, berates you for your financial situation and is talking about another girl in front of you. Why is this guy not your ex already? Alex admitted he wasn't the best guy and she was definitely considering breaking up, but due to her precarious financial situation and their shared lease, it would be incredibly difficult. She wondered if there was any way to salvage things. It was then she revealed the pattern of behavior John had exhibited in the past, seemingly random acts of pettiness that now took on a darker hue. She mentioned the muffin incident, where he threw a muffin across the room upon realizing it was cranberry, not blueberry. And the Thanksgiving debacle, where he told her grandmother he thought she was already dead. These weren't isolated incidents, they were glimpses into a deeper character flaw. The very next day, things got even clearer. John hadn't returned home after his Easter brunch, so Alex, fortified by the overwhelming advice from Reddit and a few supportive girlfriends she'd invited over for drinks and complaining, decided to eat a tray of lemon bars and brace herself for whatever came next. When she got home from work, John was there. He had the painting, now encased in a cheap dollar store frame. It was still wrinkled, flaked, and ruined beyond repair. He offered a half-hearted apology, claiming he was sorry he got so upset and was just expecting a different gift. Alex pressed him about where he had been, and he insisted he'd stayed with his parents and borrowed clothes from his dad. Alex wasn't buying it. She directly asked him why he was so upset when she had given him a painting she'd worked so hard on. John, still stubbornly defensive, explained that he pays for everything and gets rightfully upset when she doesn't use all her extra cash to be thoughtful. Alex was floored. She paid half the rent on their expensive apartment, all her student loans, and had absolutely no extra cash. She then laid out their financial reality. John bought the most expensive groceries, like a pound of pine nuts every week and fancy gelato, and cranked up the AC and heat, leaving lights on. They'd had countless arguments over her paying half of huge utility bills that she barely contributed to. John had insisted on paying for utilities and groceries himself after it started taking a toll on their relationship, but now he was using it as a weapon. Alex, furious that he'd taken out his temper on her and destroyed her hard work, told him that if he was so upset, they could just split the utilities evenly again. That's when John doubled down on the gaslighting, saying things like, "You never loved me, you knew I was a prize pig." Alex, surprisingly, had the same degree as John, that's how they met. But while his dad hired him right out of school, she had to find work on her own. She didn't resent him for this, but by the time she truly understood his economic status, she was already deeply invested in the relationship. She knew John had never been this aggressive before, and she sensed something far more sinister was at play. Super pissed, Alex outright asked him if he was effing Red Velvet, his work friend. John admitted that a while ago, they had gone out for drinks with a group from work and ended up kissing afterward. Alex pushed, asking if that was all that happened, and he insisted it was. But Alex wouldn't let it go. She kept asking him what his real problem was, why he had to compare her to other girls, why he tore up the painting, why he was so aggressive now. She knew she was probably being annoying, but her anger and hurt were immense. He just kept repeating the money line, over and over, until finally, he broke down. It wasn't just a kiss. John confessed that he and Red Velvet had started going on little dates during work hours. They hadn't had sex, he claimed, but they were basically in a relationship. He admitted he was falling for her and felt as though she was better for him. He actually wanted Alex to break up with him. And then came the most gut-wrenching admission: part of destroying the painting was his resentment towards her financially, and part of it was him wanting to hurt her enough that she would break up with him. He claimed that the fight about the painting was when it got real for him, and he had wanted to fix things with Red Velvet and break it off with Alex. Alex and John had signed a 1-year lease, and they still had 3 months left. But at that moment, none of that mattered. Alex looked at him, at the ruins of her artwork and their relationship, and told him to get out. She told him they were breaking up. And he did leave, taking some clothes with him. She wasn't sure if he was coming back. Maybe he was staying with Red Velvet. But in that moment, Alex realized she didn't care. Not anymore. It's a chilling realization when someone you love admits they actively tried to hurt you to achieve their own selfish goals. While the pain was immense, Alex found a strange sense of relief, realizing his cruelty wasn't random but calculated. Sometimes, when a relationship ends, the clarity it brings can be a powerful force for healing and moving forward. And as for John, with his strange pine nut addiction and his new, financially superior girlfriend, Alex thought, good riddance, he'll have himself a nice slice of red velvet cake. She knew she deserved much, much better. What are your thoughts on John's behavior? Have you ever had a partner use your financial situation against you or destroy something you created? Share your experiences and advice in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.